Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
This week's episode is brought to you by Google AdWords for the modern auto detail business. Now, this is a course, and Google AdWords is something that I've been doing in my personal detailing business for quite some time now, and it's something that I've tweaked and condensed and studied, and I've worked the perfect model to make profitable Google ads. So Google ads can sometimes be, or paid advertising in general, can sometimes be a really scary thing to dive into. You're investing money, you're not sure what the outcome's going to be. But what I've done is developed a course outlining exactly how I run my personal Google ads, and I show you how you can do that too. So it leaves the guesswork out of it. You just are shown how to make profitable Google ads. So if you're interested in driving some serious traffic to your business, if you're looking at reaching new customers and you want to do it in kind of the modern approach to word-of-mouth marketing and taking advantage of the authority that Google offers and Google searching offers, because that's really what it comes down to, is taking advantage of the authority that Google offers you. And you could get the number one spot on the number one page for select keywords. If you're interested in this, and if you're interested in taking your business to the next level, head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com/Google. That's autodetailingpodcast.com/Google. Now back to the show. Welcome to episode 177 of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Today, I'm so excited. We have a first for the podcast. I know it's hard to get a first when you're 177 episodes in, but today we have a girl detailer, a female detailer. Still confused on what to say it, but we have Jen Turcotte. She's the owner and principal detailer of Carsmotology, which I love that name, specializing in luxury detailing and carsmetic services. Carsmotology caters to a specific clientele looking for an exceptional experience. As a woman with 13-year history in the detailing industry, Jen has had to overcome many obstacles and push through boundaries. The struggles have had a major impact on driving her success. Intense passion for hard work and making customers happy has allowed her to silence the noise and the stereotypes. Aside from building a successful business, Jen has made it her mission to encourage and inspire other women to break into a male-dominated industry, teaching them the value in hard work and the rewards that come from that. Jen, welcome to the Auto Detailing Podcast.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Was there anything you would like to add on to that little intro there?
No, I think it sums it up pretty good.
Awesome. Well, why don't we get right into it then? Why don't you tell us, as I was telling you before we started recording, I've never had a girl-female detailer, and I'm going to bounce around with female, male, woman because nothing quite sounds right in my brain yet. But we've never had a girl detailer, so I put it out there on Detailing for Dummies on Facebook. Hey, I need a female girl detailer. And I got just a small list of girls, and you were the first one to say yes. So I'm excited to have a female's perspective on the show. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm just so happy that you're here with us. But tell us how you got into the detailing industry.
Well, I've always had an interest in cars when I was younger. My brother was a car enthusiast, and then I got an opportunity working at a car dealership with one of my friends who was a salesperson, and I worked there doing detailing and get ready for trade-ins and cars that were being sold, and I liked it a lot. I love the attention to detail, but at that age, when I was 17 years old, I didn't really take my job seriously, and I ended up getting fired by falling asleep in a car on a lift. And I didn't think anybody saw, but, those places have cameras, and I was let go. And then after that, I still stayed in the car industry. I always had, I've had about 25 cars in my life now, so I should have had a really nice house. Yep. And then, at 19 years old, I got a job at a full-service car wash detail center. Started from, washing cars, prepping them, vacuuming, drying them, all kind of like the grunt work. I wasn't going to sit there and watch people clean out the pits. I jumped right in there and did it too. I didn't want anybody to think that I couldn't do what they, were doing. And after I worked there for 4 years, after 2 years, I started running the place. The owner was pretty much like a father to me. He was kind of like a drill sergeant at times, but it turned me into the person that I am today, and I wouldn't take it back. And I had so much respect by people because they wouldn't expect me to be running a wash, fixing the track, training people, hiring people, doing fleet accounts, making the schedule, doing inventory, opening, closing, just kind of
doing everything.
I wanted to make my boss proud, even though not a lot of people got along with him there, just because he had a lot of things going on in his life. But after I left there, I went to college for a little bit, but it was kind of hard because I was, going full time, and then I had to start paying for it on my own, and that didn't really work out very well. I came back from college, started bartending for a bit, and I was doing detailing on the side just because, it's a passion of mine. And then I got a job. One of my customers at a restaurant that I worked at referred me to a highly respected motorsports shop, and I started working there, and I worked there for 2 years. Got highly respected by the clientele there, and then I decided to branch off on my own finally.
And what year did you finally branch off to your own?
2014. So last
Nice.
May was the day that I walked out.
Wow, last May. But it was really a culmination of years and years and years of detailing and just kind of figuring it out on the way.
Yeah, and it's like I was always so loyal to making other people look good, and I finally just kind of wanted to step out from behind the curtain, and
Heck yeah, you're like, man, I'm making this guy all this money. I could be making this kind of money.
I was always questioned throughout the whole time, why don't you go and do it on your own? But I was so loyal to a fault that I stuck with it, and then finally you get pushed to a breaking point when you're doing so much that
it pretty much is your business, but you're just you're doing all this stuff to run a business like it's your own, but yet it's not your own.
Nope.
I get it.
It's so confusing when it's not your own, because they try and throw in wrenches into the mix, and it's like just let me take control of this. I got this. Oh.
Well, congratulate. I mean, I didn't know you only started your business last year. That's awesome. Yeah. Congratulations.
It's been really great. The first year, I'm not going to lie, it was really tough. But it was just kind of all about building my reputation on my own.
Yeah.
But
well, I think, and we're going to get into a challenge that, this should be a pretty interesting part of the show, but, gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Anyway, whatever. Well, let's get into a challenge. What is the challenge you faced early on, either in your career or even last May as you started your business?
Oh boy. Early on, I mean, I would always say the whole, people just, it was like an equation that didn't have an answer, people would look at me and they'd be like, wait a second, like, you're detailing my car or you're working on my car. I mean, I remember when I was younger and I just had longer nails, and they were nicely kept, it wasn't, I never kept my nails dirty or whatever. And, I was turned down one time because a guy thought that my nails were going to scratch his car.
Oh my gosh.
Or, I mean, that's something stupid, but, it's all about the whole, it's an unfamiliar territory for girls. So guys just, I guess they don't take me seriously. Last year or most recently, one of the challenges is, when I decided to branch off on my own, there was a lot of people that doubted me, a lot of people that are really close to me that I, worked hard for. And it was kind of just like, as soon as I decided to do something for myself, people show their true colors and you realize who's going to be there and, who's not, and who is, taking you for granted. So there's that. And, asking for help is a really hard challenge. You know, doing everything on your own is it's really hard. You know, and I'm somebody that's really stubborn, and I hate to ask for help, but I didn't exactly have the funds when I started out, and you know, I couldn't ask my family. My mom and my brother doesn't even really know this, but my mom had some reserve money that he gave her, and she helped me, you know, put it in for inventory. My old boss that I worked for and have known for 10 years, you know, he threw in enough money so I could get into the warehouse that I wanted to. And, you know, I paid him back, and he only asked for the principal, which, you know, and he right away was like, yes, you know, I want to see you succeed. And, you know, he was like, that speaks so much to me, you know, that people are, you know, wanting to help you, you know, follow your dream. And so like the whole funding, that was a challenge for me, but yeah, I pushed through it.
Do you feel now that you've had your own business for over a year now, and detailing in certain parts of the country and of the world, really, and I don't know how it is in your specific location, but do you feel like it helps you? It could be a negative that you're a girl and that whole stereotype that's out there, but do you feel that it helps you be, is that like a differentiator for you versus your competition in your local area? Does that help you stand out at all?
I'm not gonna lie, my vocabulary is not very well, but different.
Like, do people? Does it help you stand out? Does it help your company stand out?
It does, because you know what? I mean,
because you're different than what the norm is.
Like sex sells, so I mean, that's a good way for me to, I guess, for people to like get maybe, you know, instead of flipping the page, they'll be like, oh, you know, it's kind of intriguing.
Right, exactly.
But I don't like to, you know, look at it like that at all.
Okay.
Wait, get back to the question again.
I just wondered, in like it, like I'm in Southern California, right? So my market for there's detailers are a dime a dozen out here, right? So it's really hard to be different than the next guy who's a detailer.
Exactly.
You know.
You know, one thing that I do like to set myself apart from everybody else is the fact that when they come and talk to me, you know, about detailing, they genuinely will see that I care, because I care about it, you know, more than anything else. I could have quit a long time ago, you know. So being a girl in this industry, it has its, you know, pluses and, you know, the positive side and the negative side, because, you know, girls don't really, a lot of girls might look at me and be like, oh, she just wants it for the attention. But, you know, it's not even that, because attention is only gonna, you know, like you said in the bio, you know, it just kind of like brings the noise, and I'm not trying to, you know, focus on that. Like, I need to focus on the work and focus on what I love to do. And, you know, if you sit there and listen to all the negative, then, you know, it's just going to keep you two steps back.
Totally. I agree. Yeah. It's, you know, a lot of people, when they're trying to be different than other detailers, they focus too heavily on what's making them different about being a detailer. And go ahead.
Oh, no, I was saying, like, making them different. Like, I feel like a lot of people try and be different with, like, the different, like, the new technology, or not, maybe not technology, but, you know, like, new products. Right.
And they lag on, you still have to come through on the quality, you know, and for you, someone's not going to support you just because you're a girl. Well, maybe some, but the majority aren't going to support you just because you're a female. You still need to come through and be the best, have the best quality detail shop around. I love that. Yeah.
And it's crazy because, you know, my first year, I spent, there was 1 week where I remember I spent probably, one day I worked for 22 hours straight. I worked in my shop for 4 days straight, waking up at 6:30 in the morning, going to a PDR shop that I'm very close with, and working from there until noon, and then going to a offsite guy's house until about 5:30, coming back to my shop, working from 6:30 until 2:30 in the morning, working on cars that need to get ready for a show, and then I'd wake up and do it all over again. I didn't even have time to shower. I barely had time to eat, but I didn't care. I was losing so much money too, because I was pretty much giving my details away. I put way too much time in what I do, but I'm not going to let anything go out the door unless it's up to my standards. And I'm sure any detailer understands that when those last few hours that you have your detail there, you want to, you're hustling. Well, sometimes I hustle because there's so many little parts to the car that I get to. It's crazy. So detailing, I don't even know what I used to do when I first started detailing compared to what I do now, because when I first started detailing, I was pretty much, I remember doing an F250 in a matter of like 3 hours. That's exterior buffing, interior, shampooing, door jams, like all that stuff. And now it's like I have a list about, I don't know, it's like 100 plus things that I do to a car.
Wow.
Yeah.
What advice would you give someone who's just starting out that may be facing the same, not issues, but the same things?
Challenges?
Yeah, same much better word than things. The same challenges that you faced.
It's okay. Like I said, my vocabulary not the best.
Like trying to come up with this really sophisticated word, and all I could think of is things.
Things, it's okay. Challenge. One thing is, don't let anybody put you down, because one thing you need to learn is, and that I stuck with it because I kept taking that constructive criticism. Because growing up, I didn't have my parents around. They were both very present. My dad was an amazing guy. My mom, they went through a really bad divorce, and my mom was kind of preoccupied with, boys and drinking, and my dad had a new life, and me, having somebody there to tell me right from wrong, I didn't really have that. So me growing up, I listened to as much constructive criticism as I possibly could to be the best person that I could be. I am such an observer, because I just, whether it be from relationships to my job to, working other jobs that I do, to just interaction with people every single day, I just I'm an observer. I just want to learn. And a lot of people need to, I've had, I'm not going to lie, I've had a few different girls try and work with me, and, trying to give them constructive criticism. It's like, it's almost, it was a challenge. So I can't preach enough to have people to just listen and learn, because whoever's trying to teach you is not trying to, they're not sitting there, saying like you're effing up, it's them trying to, like I've always said when I had girls working for me, I'm trying to make you be the best person you possibly can be, and I want to share this experience with you. It's great. The fact that guys respect you for working so hard, it's so gratifying. If I could work, it sounds stupid and whatever, but if I could work for free, I did work for free at times when I was, well off, but that wasn't a lot, but I love the gratification of making somebody happy.
Yeah.
So it all kind of stems from just being patient and wanting to learn. And another challenge is I was so excited about just kind of like doing a business on my own that I didn't know all the I'm not a very analytical person. When I first started out, I went to Office Max and I bought, receipts that you write out that, have the yellow paper on, totally old fashioned. I had no idea what to do. Did I know about QuickBooks? Yeah, I did. I used to, enter in stuff when I worked at my last job, but I don't know any of that stuff. I just know how to work hard, and, I just want to make people happy. So it's like customer service and working hard. I didn't really focus on, what the overhead was, even though I was, told about it, and I was like, no, I got it, but you don't figure in all the chemicals, and, then you got to do the accounting yourself if you don't have anybody, because I didn't have anybody to help me with any of that stuff.
Right.
And just kind of like try and factor in all those things, and definitely talk to somebody. Like, I talked to my boss at the motorsports company, and he told me pretty much about all this stuff. And I was kind of just like, no, I know. Kind of just like when you're younger and people are, adults try and tell you something, and you just think but you don't know until you totally experience it. And it hit me hard, especially, living in Minnesota, winters,
Yeah.
Like,
hello. Winters.
Oh my God. And this winter, I mean, it was probably, it was pretty bad.
What is on the flip side of challenges, what's one of the biggest moments you've had so far in either the detail industry, within your business, or even within your journey into the industry?
Biggest moment. Well, there were a couple. I guess I'll start back from when I worked at the full service car wash detail center. Kind of a long story, but I'll make it short. So when I was 17, my dad, he always had his own business, and he always wanted me to have my own business. And he told me he was going to help me when I was, 18 years old. And he was such a supporter. But he passed away when I was 17 from a carbon monoxide leak. And after that, I got into drugs. I didn't have my mom there. I can't even tell you how many times my mom told me she wanted to die. She, there was physical stuff in her relationship at the time, and I've probably almost watched her die in front of me a few times. Wow. And my boyfriend at the time left me for my best friend, and my best friend didn't even like him because he was like doing drugs, and she just wanted to do drugs. So that really hurt me. So I got in my car, and I was doing drugs at the time too, because I just didn't give a crap about anything. I'm going to try not to swear because of everything that happened. And so I went down to Florida, lived in my car for 3 months, pretty much ate with, at point, like I got a hostess job, but that was like $200 for every 2 weeks. And then, after 3 months, my girlfriend and her grandma took me in. And then finally, I was sober after probably a week that I drove down there. And it was 6 months, and I decided to come back to Minnesota. And that's when I started working at the full service detail shop. And the fact that I worked there and worked all the way from, shoveling pits to running the place and managing 15 kids and all this stuff. And the fact is that when I left that place, because I couldn't handle it anymore, because there were high schoolers that were pretty much making my life a living hell, because they didn't care. It's their first job.
Right.
Why should they care? Cleaning a window, I mean, it's not really that hard, but for some reason, and I would stop the track and make sure that all those cars were cleaned out properly before they went out the door. And after I left that place to go try and go to university, it shut down. It got bought out by a Regal car wash that was $3, and now it's a desert town. So I drive past there, and I'm just like, man, after I left there, my other assistant manager friend, he took over, and it was just kind of like, there were kids smoking in the parking lot, and they not like the tire was just not professional. It's like, who wants to drive in there and get your car washed by kids that are going to steal stuff out of it?
Right.
When I worked there, I wanted to try to set the best example that I possibly could, because when I was training people in, no matter what you do, you should care about it, whether it's bussing tables or being a plumber. I don't know.
Right.
But, just walking out of there, and I mean, it's sad that it shut down, but I know I made that place run. And, I brought back returning customers, and when people came in and were like, I was referred to you, that means a lot to me. And then, after that, working at a motorsports place.
Are you detailing a car right now?
No,
I'm just kidding.
Not right now, but I will be. I got a Ferrari coming in later. I'm excited.
Nice.
But working at a place where,
Wait, later? Isn't it already like 7 p.m. there?
Like I said, I'm a workaholic. It's crazy. I love what I do. It like helps me escape.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, Jesus, cut it out. Well, anyway, I was kidding, but I was detailing the owner of really well-known jewelry places, owner of Taco Bell, like $500,000 car, just Aventadors, all these priceless cars. Some were priceless, and walking out of there and starting something on your own. I mean, anybody who does it should know that it's scary and it's exciting all at the same time. I remember I was crying one minute and I was ecstatic the next, but it's like you're not going to get anywhere unless you take risks.
Right. Yep.
So.
Love that. What is one breakthrough product that changed the way you detail cars forever, and how has it changed the way you detail cars?
Forever.
Maybe not forever because it's constantly changing, but for right now, how about that?
Right now, I am in love with Menzerna products.
All of them across the board?
I actually only stick to 3 of them, and they have never let me down, and it's a process that I have down. I know my buddy, if he listens to this, he's probably going to be like, but, my buddy came in here one day, and he was like, brought all of his tools and, polishes and showing me all this stuff, and he's like, check this out, and, he did a spot. It took him about 10 minutes. I did a spot. It took me about 5 minutes. And, he holds up the light to his, and he's like, and I kind of showed him, and he's like, well, there's a little bit of etching in here, but, and then, bring the light over to my side, and, he's sitting there, like, holding the light in different spots, trying to find something wrong with it. And I'm like, I don't even know. So I love my Menzerna. I love my whole technique that I have with it, and it works. So.
Awesome. Efficiency and results are 2 things that I try and focus really heavily on, and really encourage people to really focus on that. Whatever. That's what I love about this question is like everyone has a different answer, and that's one of the things I love about the industry is that, you're saying Menzerna works great for you. Someone may say another brand, and it's like, it's all about, there's no right or wrong, it's just about what you found works great for you.
Exactly.
So what's one thing that's really exciting to you about the future of the detailing industry?
To be completely honest, I hope to change the future of, the automotive detailing industry. I want to break the, through the stereotypes. I want girls to, try to experience the unfamiliar territory and realize that it's not just about, you get dirty when you detail, but the end product, it's like, that's why I relate it to going to the salon. I'm sure there's so many detailing places that, are called the auto salon and stuff like that, because it is, you are taking something that needs attention. There's layers of gunk and contaminants, and, it's a total transformation. And, I don't know, I just want to get more girls involved. It's so fun. I mean, I have girls contact me all the time. I'm honestly, I'm in my personal life, I will, when it comes to my stuff, sometimes I'm not the most organized. And when it comes to teaching and doing a process for other people, so I'm kind of trying to figure out how to do that when it comes to teaching females, because I don't know. I've never really done it before. I tried and it didn't work. I don't know if it's because it was me. I thought I was being, super nice. Maybe it's because I'm such a giver, and maybe I was too nice, and people take advantage of that a lot. I have all the necessary puzzle pieces to making it work. I just don't know really how to put it together, and I wish I did, to, explain it to females more and, try and recruit them inspire them. Other, it's not just about females too. It's, that's my whole thing. Like, that's what I plan on.
Right. I think there's a huge market for female detailers, and I don't know how many girl listeners I have on the show, to be honest. But I think if there is a girl out there that wants to get into the detailing industry, that they should definitely go for it. And I think looking at you as an example, and another point that I want to talk to, it's one thing to just say you're an auto salon, but to have the name Carsmotology is just next level. That's like, you could have named it Jen's Auto Salon.
I know. It's so crazy too, because I had so much pressure on me, when they're like, you need to sign the papers to your warehouse and you need the LLC. And I'm like, oh God. So I'm sitting there, at night trying to figure this out, and I'm doing like Jen's Auto Salon and, trying to think of something weird. And then all of a sudden I thought of how I called it my car cosmetology, car cosmetology for the longest time. Then I morphed it together, wrote it out, but I accidentally spelled it MOTO, but that's how I wanted it to look. But I didn't realize cosmetology was MET. So, but it worked perfect, and I absolutely love it. I've had people tell me it's a mouthful, and some people just they don't like it, but it's not for everybody. And but I'm sure.
What do they mean when they say it's a multiple? What does that mean?
A mouthful. Sorry.
What's that?
A mouthful.
Oh, mouthful. Oh. Yeah, but, it's funny. I had someone, my name is Jimbo. That's literally what I go by. Obviously, my real name's James, but for my whole life, I've gone by Jimbo. Yeah. And I have the really creative name of Jimbo's Auto Detailing. That's my personal company name. And it's very bland and very bleh. But because my name is Jimbo, no one, and it's kind of like a, what? What's your name? No, that can't be your real name. That's what everyone says, at least. And people never forget it, though. And I had someone recently tell me, like, oh, you should really think about changing, like, your brand name and change, and but it was something like Carsmotology. Yeah, it's kind of a tongue twister. Yeah, it's kind of whatever, but I'll never forget that name. And so the same is true with your customers. They're never going to forget. It's not going to be like, oh, what was that girl's name? Yeah, she was a girl detailer, but what was her name? They're going to remember Carsmotology. I think it's brilliant. I really do.
Well, thank you. It's pretty cool because, like when it comes with that too, I came up with the Carsmetics, and, there's a few things that I have in the works too that I'm not going to disclose right now, but I don't know, like another, like sometimes when I'm sure any detailer's seen another, detailer's work or something that I guess you could say botched cosmetics. So, like when you watch, have you ever seen that movie Botched, or the show Botched?
No.
No. Okay, it's just like when people go in for cosmetic surgery.
Oh, right. Okay.
And botch, so that's why I call it cosmetic surgery. Botch cosmetics.
Okay.
Anyway.
Nice.
Sorry.
No. I like it.
Okay.
So do you see more girls either starting their own detail business or becoming a part of the detailing industry? Do you see that becoming more of a mainstream thing, and a lot of the skepticism and whatever, forgot the word I was looking for, but do you see a lot of that going away?
Away
in future,
like the
stereotypes. There we go. Hello.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Yes. What I'm working on right now, I worked from just working in a shop where I had one shelf, and I'm going to be pretty much morphing this into a totally different experience. It's going to be, a boutique sort of shop. And I think that, when that comes, that hopefully it'll grab the attention of women out there that are inspired about cars, and maybe, because at first I wanted to go to school for automotive mechanics because I love cars so much. But I mean, I working on cars sometimes, like that literally kind of scared me, because I'm not going to get my finger pinched in some Mercedes brake or whatever that, people warn me about. I'm just not, that's kind of scary for me. I mean, I do light work on my car, but that wasn't for me. So
Right.
For a girl to see a different way to work on cars, I hope that they'll be like, wow, and hopefully they do start their own thing. I want to be an inspiration. I want to, I want to show women that there is another way to, be in the car industry rather than, modeling next to a car or,
Which, I'm sorry, I feel like that is such a sad,
isn't it?
I remember last year at SEMA,
Yep.
and even
Gotta go there.
I felt for these girls that, and granted, it may be their choice to be doing that. I don't know any of the backstories of any of those girls,
Yep.
but just to see them standing there in their scantily clad outfit, and just having random people take pictures of them, I'm just like, my heart almost breaks for them. Like,
So many dudes are like
perving out,
creeping it real. You
Yeah.
know? Like, I've been asked to do, like when I first started out, I did maybe like one photo shoot, but it was in front of my shop, and it was with a Ferrari, and it wasn't anything like scandalous or anything, but, I just used it for like my cover photo on my Facebook. But, I've been asked to do photo shoots. Like, I'm a part of this rally that's going on in August, and I was asked to do kind of like a modeling thing, and I wasn't sure what they meant by it, because you see all those girls that are modeling by cars and stuff, and I just didn't want to be in that
stereotype,
because that's not what I'm trying.
Right? Exactly.
Like, I may try and I try and take care of myself because I care about myself, but I'm not trying to flaunt that for my business.
Right.
I guess, say.
Yeah, it's to be honest, I'm really excited to watch your company, to see where it goes, and to see the things coming down the pipe that you got in the works. I think that's definitely something to watch for. Can you give our listeners a final parting word of advice? Anything at all. It can be detail related. It can be personal related. Anything at all.
When you sit there in life and you, one thing that really bothers me is the fact that some people just can't get over things that happened in their past. And it holds them back. And it's, don't let that stray you away from your true values. Everybody should have a passion for something, and don't let anybody ever, take that away from you or, talk bad about it. Just don't be around those people, stay around people that are, positive and will protect you from, the people that are taking advantage of you. One thing, if I would have not asked anybody for advice, when I was starting out, I had so many people wanting to invest with me and then be like, oh, I'll get 40%. I'll just help you with everything. It's like, I asked around to make sure before I took any big step, because I did not want to be stuck in something that, I should have asked about. Ask advice. Don't be afraid to, ask advice. Just stay true to yourself, values, principles, and just focus on the work too. There's going to be a lot of things, especially with girls. Don't let guys come hang around your shop that are gonna. It's like, one thing that I hate is when people sit around there, they're not respectful of your time. Like, I got work to do, and you kind of just gotta buck up and be like, hey, I got probably about like 3 to 6 hours of buffing. I need you to go. So just focus on the work, focus on timing. Something that I'm trying to work on right now is, scheduling myself. I'm trying to wake up in the morning, have a schedule. I want to be out of here by 6 o'clock. I don't like staying here until 2:30 in the morning. I mean, like, I don't mind it, but it gets to a certain point where you're like, oh my God, my back, my knees, my feet.
Yeah. The long-term game plan to be at your shop every night till 2 is not a good route.
You need a life, and if you don't, then you're just gonna get angry.
Yeah.
But just
playing that burnout game is not fun. It's not fun at all. So if there's girls out there that want to become detailers, if there's guys out there that would just kind of want to continue to follow your journey, how can they connect with you? If they live in your area, kind of give a little shout out to your area, and if anyone's in that area that wants to get their car detailed by you, or I don't know if you do any one-to-one mentoring or training, how can people find you, connect with you, get their car detailed by you, all that good stuff?
Well, they could go to the website at carsmotologymn.com, and also you can follow my work on Facebook and Instagram. I mean, that's always a way to contact me as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I'll have that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, there's one more thing that I kind of wanted to add.
Absolutely.
And I didn't really mean to make this whole podcast about women, because, I mean, if I were to say something, for the guys also is, there's stuff that I want to say, but now I just can't think of it.
The theme of this podcast has been girl detailers and losing trains of thought.
I know. But I just, for the guys too, take your work seriously, and take pride in it. And another thing is, I find that a lot of guys are kind of competitive, and I'm trying to break that. Yeah. Also, like I have car meets every once in a while at my shop with a car club, and we'll just start it up. But when that happened, there are other detailers that asked if they could come here, and some detailers didn't. But it's like, I just kind of want to bring everybody together. And, it's like we're all in this industry together. Everybody has, we're car enthusiasts. Why should we sit there and, say something bad about somebody that's, making an effort to, be around something that they like,
You know what? That's a great point. And that was a big motivating factor for me when I started this podcast was, what the heck? Why is there so many people that just talk crap on other people that aren't even in their area? And even now, it's like I try to get, it hasn't happened that much, but a few guests that I've tried to get on the show, and I've never even said this publicly, but whatever. But, and I won't name them by name because I try not to talk crap on anyone, but it's like they won't come on the show because, and I'm like, what's the big deal? Like, it's just to share your journey, to help out other detailers, to kind of form this unity among all of us as detailers. So why wouldn't you want to help the collective bunch? Like, what's the point?
I was so happy to be on this podcast because, I noticed that. So
yeah, I appreciate that.
I appreciate your participation.
and I think having more girls in the industry will help. I think there's just it's too male dominated.
Yeah, I want to equal it out.
And I think that is something that having more girls in the industry will help with, is kind of evening out the playing field and not making it so ego driven. So anyway.
Yeah, it's not a competition, we're all trying to.
We're just trying to get better. We're all trying to get better together. And I think we all, but I don't know. People have hidden agendas that they don't want to talk about or whatever. I could get on my soapbox and talk about why I think people don't want to do my thing. But anyway, save that.
How do you feel, Jimbo?
Tell me how you really feel. I could get on my soapbox, but I won't. I'll save it for another day. Anyway. All right. I really, really appreciate you coming on the show. Is there any last thoughts that you wanted to add? Did anything come back to mind?
No, this is just a great experience, and I really appreciate being the first female.
Today's sponsor of the show is Bluehost. Bluehost offers domains and hosting. If you're looking at buying a domain name or hosting your current domain name, head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com/website. I've worked out a deal with Bluehost for special discounts and offers for Auto Detailing Podcast listeners, and it also helps me out too. Gives me a little bit of kickback for each one of you that sign up through that website, autodetailingpodcast.com/website, where you can get a free domain name with a hosting plan. So head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com/website and pick up that free domain with any hosting package. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com for full show notes and links of everything that we've talked about today. And don't forget to check out our resources page for a direct link to all the products talked about not only on today's episode, but that I use in my day-to-day detail business. They have direct links so you can purchase and get free shipping right from that page. That's autodetailingpodcast.com. We'll see you on the next episode.